In a quiet corner of Quebec, long before the world knew her name, Celine Dion was born into a home where survival came before dreams. She arrived on March 30th, 1968, in Charlemagne, the 14th child in a family where money was scarce, but love and music were not. The house was crowded, the winters harsh, and every meal required careful stretching to feed everyone. Privacy hardly existed, yet warmth did. Her parents filled the small rooms with songs instead of complaints. Music was never treated as a luxury. It was simply part of daily life. It helped the family celebrate small joys and endure difficult moments. Long before she understood fame or stages, Celine understood the emotional power of a song. At the kitchen table, surrounded by siblings and laughter, she began discovering the voice that would one day travel far beyond that modest home. The kitchen table that became a stage. When Celine was just 5 years old, she climbed onto the family's kitchen table and sang for the people she loved most. It was not planned or rehearsed, yet when she began singing, the room grew quiet. Her parents and siblings listened with a kind of surprise that only happens when something special appears unexpectedly. Even at that age, her voice carried emotion that felt bigger than the small room she stood in. Her mother noticed it first. She sensed that this was more than a child singing for attention. It was the beginning of something meaningful. Those early moments were not performances for an audience. They were expressions of family life. Still, the confidence she showed revealed a natural comfort with music. Without knowing it, the young girl standing on a table in a crowded house had already taken her first step toward a future the world would one day watch. The man who heard something extraordinary. When Celine was 12, her mother wrote a song called Ce n'était qu'un rêve, meaning it was only a dream. A homemade recording of the song was sent to René, a respected music manager in Quebec. He had received many demo tapes before and had little reason to expect something remarkable. Yet, when he listened, something stopped him. He asked to meet the young singer. What he found was a shy girl standing in a modest living room, ready to sing with sincerity and courage. As she performed, Angelil reportedly became emotional. He immediately recognized the rare quality of her voice. Believing deeply in her potential, he made a bold decision. He mortgaged his own home to finance her first album. It was an extraordinary act of faith. In that moment, the foundation of one of music's most remarkable careers was quietly laid. From local talent to rising star, Celine's early French-language albums quickly gained attention across Quebec. Listeners responded to her powerful voice and heartfelt delivery. Though she was still very young, her performances carried maturity and depth that surprised many critics. Under Angelil's guidance, her career was built carefully and patiently. He focused not only on her singing, but also on preparing her for a much larger stage. She studied languages, refined her stage presence, and learned how to connect with diverse audiences. These years required discipline and determination. Fame within Quebec was encouraging, but the global stage remained distant. Still, the path forward was becoming clearer. Every album, every performance, and every interview slowly expanded her reach. What began as a local success was gradually becoming something bigger. The young singer from Charlemagne was preparing for a moment when the entire world would hear her voice. Love that grew beyond music. As the years passed, the professional partnership between Celine and René slowly evolved into something more personal. Their bond deepened through shared experiences, challenges, and dreams. Because of their age difference, the relationship drew public attention and criticism when it eventually became known. Yet both of them approached the situation with honesty and quiet confidence. They understood their connection in ways that outsiders could not fully see. In December 1994, They were married in a grand ceremony at the Notre Dame Basilica in Montreal. The wedding was watched by millions on television and became a memorable national event. For Celine, it marked more than a romantic milestone. It represented loyalty to the man who had believed in her voice before the world had heard it. Together, they stepped into the next chapter of their shared life. A moment that introduced her to the world. Celine's international breakthrough came in 1988 when she represented Switzerland in the Eurovision Song Contest 1988. Performing the song Ne partez pas sans moi, she stood before a vast audience across Europe. At that time, she was still relatively unknown outside Canada. The competition was intense, and the final results were extremely close. When the votes were counted, she won by a single point. That narrow victory changed everything. Suddenly, millions of viewers across continents knew her name. The win opened doors to the English-speaking music market and gave her the platform needed for a truly global career. It also proved something important. Her voice could reach people regardless of language or culture. The world had discovered her, and from that moment forward, her journey would expand far beyond the borders of her home province. The songs that reached every corner of the world. Throughout the early 1990s, Celine released a series of English-language albums that steadily built her international reputation. Songs like The Power of Love, Because You Loved Me, and It's All Coming Back to Me Now showcased the emotional strength and technical skill that made her voice unique. Radio stations around the world played her music constantly. Then, in 1997, everything changed again with the release of the film Titanic. Its theme song, My Heart Will Go On, performed by Celine, became one of the most recognizable songs in modern music history. The ballad captured the emotional heart of the film and resonated with listeners everywhere. Suddenly, her voice was not just popular, it was unforgettable. The song won major awards and cemented her place among the most influential singers of her generation. When love faced its hardest test. At the height of her success, life brought a serious challenge. In 1998, René Angelil was diagnosed with cancer. For Celine, the decision about what mattered most was immediate and clear. She paused her fast-growing career to focus on supporting her husband through treatment and recovery. It was not an easy choice in an industry that moves quickly, but she prioritized family over fame. During those years, she spent time beside him in hospitals and at home, offering strength and companionship. The experience deepened their bond and reminded her of what truly mattered. Eventually, René's health improved, allowing them to return to normal life. When Celine later resumed performing, she did so with a new perspective. Success was still meaningful, but love and family had become the center of everything. Facing a rare health challenge. In 2022, Celine shared that she had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a condition that affects muscle control and movement. The diagnosis forced her to cancel several planned concerts and focus on treatment and recovery. For someone whose life had revolved around performing, the change was significant. Yet she approached the challenge with the same determination that had guided her throughout her career. Working with medical specialists and therapists, she began focusing on maintaining strength and adapting to new limitations. Fans around the world expressed encouragement and support. While the condition presented real obstacles, it did not erase her passion for music. Instead, it highlighted the resilience that had always been part of her story, from childhood struggles to global success and personal loss. A legacy. Built on voice and heart. Today, Celine Dion's journey continues to inspire millions of people around the world. Her voice remains one of the most recognizable in music history, but her story extends far beyond songs and stages. It is a story of perseverance, loyalty, and devotion to both family and art. From a crowded house in Quebec to international stages, Her path has been shaped by courage and determination. Through triumphs and challenges, she has remained committed to the emotional connection that music creates between people. Her songs remind listeners that joy, love, and resilience are shared human experiences. And even during difficult moments, her legacy continues to grow, not only as a performer but as a symbol of strength, compassion, and enduring passion for the music that first began around a simple kitchen table.